Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents, and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA. I'm DiBRAVA. In today's episode of Culture Clips, we fly to Mar-a-Lago with the cast of MSNBC's Morning Joe to meet with President-elect Donald Trump and kiss the ring. You ready for this one? Let's get into it.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself.
Now, let me just remind you here, okay? This is Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, okay? Two of the most... I would say, I don't even know what the word is to describe it. I mean, the rhetoric that they spewed about President Trump during his presidency and for the 4 years, and the past 4 years that he hasn't been president, has been insane. Insane, okay? Just so you know, the works, from Hitler all the way down to Mussolini, okay? Now, they're singing a different tune.
President-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, I just want to remind you here, these two, before President Trump became the president the first time, they were like the best of friends. Okay, they had been to Mar-a-Lago many times, just hanging out like celebrity friends do. Oh, they were laughing and joking. I did a live on this entire situation, and it's mind-boggling. So they're no different from the rest of the Hollywood elites who thought Trump was the greatest thing since sliced bread until he became president. Okay, I'm just saying.
In 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
Now, I just want to point something out, okay, while Mika just takes a deep breath here, because she is a piece of work. Look up her father, by the way. That's a different show for a different day. Now, these two here have called Trump a dictator. He's going to end democracy, okay? He's a fascist. They've compared him to Hitler, Mussolini, the works, okay? The worst. The rhetoric from these two mouths has been insane. Now, if President Trump is such a dictator, and they haven't spoken to him in 7 years, that came out of Mika's mouth herself. They haven't spoken to President Trump in 7 years. 7 years. Why would President Trump meet with them after everything they've done to him on national television, live? Called him all kinds of names, said he was going to end democracy, incite fear, call him Hitler. President Trump is a dictator, but yet he's the president-elect now. He doesn't need you for anything at this point. And he met with you, too, after everything you did and said about him. And not only did he meet with you, he allowed you to come into his home at Mar-a-Lago after the rhetoric that you were spewing and laughing about how when they raided his home with his wife and children there. I mean, are you out of your minds? First of all, President Trump has some explaining to do here, because I'm not too comfortable with the fact that he allowed them in his home, okay, and actually gave them the time of day, because these two have attacked people like me. When I say me, I'm saying Trump supporters, okay? These two right here attacked Trump supporters. We should be locked up. We should be quarantined. We should be all these things. So I'm taking this a certain way. I'm not quite understanding why he gave these two the time of day, okay? That's just my thoughts. Let's see what Joe has to say.
On a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting...
Yeah, and after that attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania, these two got on television and said that, you know, it was his fault for his rhetoric that got him nearly assassinated. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
This meeting, President Trump was cheerful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
Well, why wouldn't you? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Between the two of them, she's making $15 million a year on MSNBC. He's making 20. So that's $35 million. 35 million reasons why you're going to kiss the ring, my dear. Okay? 35 million reasons per year why you're going to kiss the ring. We're not stupid, Mika. Okay? And by the way, her father is a total Marxist communist, okay? That's a whole nother story for a different day. I wouldn't trust them within 2 feet of my home if I was Donald Trump. I don't know how he allowed them in his home. I'm already upset with the fact that he met with them, but to let them come to your home? I mean, couldn't you met them down the street somewhere? I mean, why in your house? That bothers me.
5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe,
have you ever seen anybody this low? Anyone this low? I'm telling you, Morning Joe is one of the worst shows on MSNBC, okay? And the thing is that Joy Reid is a clown. You know, these people are clowns. These two, people listen to these two. They're on prime time. They're the morning show. That's why they're making that kind of money between the two of them. And Mika here? I mean, really? Talk about kissing the ring. I'm going to tell you something now, though. See, this just goes to prove to you that, you know, she does have conservative values. Because the only reason why that she's bowing down like this is because Joe, her husband, this is the husband and wife now, okay? Her husband told her to. That's how that worked.
Joe and I realized it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
You know, I have to say, talking not only about Donald Trump, but talking with him. You know, I wonder what Rachel Maddow thinks of this. You know? I wonder what Rachel Maddow thinks. I wonder what Joy Reid thinks about these two veering off and going to bow down and kiss the ring, begging for their salaries, begging to change. I mean, does MSNBC actually think that they're going to like gain viewership or retain the little viewers that they have by, you know, having these two deep state operatives do this? Go and beg Donald Trump for forgiveness? And why should Donald Trump even give them the time of day? I mean, these people incited so much violence from their rhetoric that the president was nearly assassinated more than once. I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I mean, let me just say this. I'm a big fan of Steven Crowder and Tim Pool and Benny Johnson, okay? In my opinion, YouTubers are a very, very large part of the reason Donald Trump won this election, because they've silenced everybody. Fox can't even speak their minds. I mean, Tucker Carlson was fired for speaking his. Okay. I mean, so let's think about this. Mainstream media is done. Okay. Without YouTubers, would President Donald Trump actually have gotten reelected? I don't think so. I really don't. So when I saw this, the moment I saw this, I thought to myself, wow, that's kind of disrespectful of President Trump. It's kind of disrespectful of President-elect Donald Trump to actually meet with Mika and Joe after all the hard work that Benny Johnson, that Tim Pool, Steven Crowder have put in, and others, and many others, have put into helping him get reelected. When he didn't have a voice on mainstream media. He calls them the fake news, but then you're going to sit and invite them to your home? I don't know, President Trump, you've got some splaining to do, okay? Oh, I guess it's all just entertainment at the end of the day. They're just all elite friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Culture Clips. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm curious to see where this lands. I'm DiBRAVA. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.